The first building over 100 feet in Texas was built in Houston in 1905. The architectural firm of Sanguinet and Stats was awarded a contract to design the new First National Bank building. The 8-story neoclassical structure at 201 Main Street was completed in 1905 and was lauded as the first steel-framed structure in Houston and the city's first skyscraper. It was also the first Houston building designed by Sanguinet and Stats and credited as that firm's first tall building. These architects later designed and constructed additional tall office buildings in Houston. The 8-story building was only 25 feet wide and stood at a height of 118 feet. In August 1908, First National Bank bought 2 adjacent buildings belonging to the T.W. House Private Bank, which failed during the Panic of 1907. Sanguinet and Stats raised these structures, added 50 feet of frontage on Main Street in 1909, and enlarged the original entry facade of only 25 feet to a width of 75 feet, in the same style as the original. In 1911, another small annex was added to the rear. In the 2020s, the building's exterior remained unchanged since its original construction in 1905 and extension in 1909. The Praetorian building, also known as Stone Place Tower, was a 15-story, 58 meters 190 feet high-rise constructed in 1909 at Main Street and Stone Street in the Main Street district of downtown Dallas, Texas. It was among the first skyscrapers built in the entire western United States, following the 1885 Lumber Exchange building in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and other taller towers in Minneapolis, San Francisco, Omaha, and Kansas City. The Praetorian Tower was conceived as the national headquarters of the Praetorian Order, a fraternal insurance company based in Dallas. The mostly empty plot of land at Main Street and Stone Street had previously hosted the circus, medicine shows, and college football events. In 1905, the Order announced a 6-story, fireproof building capable of expanding 8 additional floors. Months later, plans were changed to the construction of a 15-story building, the first skyscraper in Dallas. Construction began in late 1905, and after several delays, the frame of the $800,000 building was complete in 1907, and it finally opened to visitors on February 28, 1909. The Praetorian building remained the tallest building in Dallas only until 1912. As time went on, plans for its redevelopment were eventually disbanded and the building's deconstruction was completed in the summer of 2013. Samuel Fane Carter, the founder of Lumberman's Bank in Houston, commissioned the architecture firm of Sanguinet and Stats to design a 16-floor, steel-framed building on Main Street at the corner of Rusk Street in Houston. The Fort Worth-based Sanguinet and Stats had already been building skyscrapers in various cities in Texas, and was building a reputation for this type of structure. At the time of its completion in 1910, the Carter Building was the tallest structure in Texas at 302 feet. Many Houstonians expressed doubt that a building so tall was structurally sound, and that a commercial building so far from Houston's business core would prosper. Many called the building Carter's Folly. Carter, who had founded the Lumberman's Bank in 1907, used space on the 16th floor for his own office, though he opted to keep the bank at its original location on Main at Prairie. Lumberman's Bank changed its name to Second National Bank in 1923. The Carter Building was equipped with indoor plumbing and drinking fountains dispensing cold water. Interiors of all floors were decorated in Italian and Norwegian marble. Electric lights and fans were installed in each office, as well as sinks. Carter sold the building in 1923 to the financial institution he founded, Second National Bank of Houston. The bank hired Boston-based architectural firm Thomas M. James Company to design a 6-story addition. In October 2009, the Second National Bank building sold for $3 million. The purchaser, Pearl Real Estate of Fort Worth, specialized in the development, construction, and operation of hotels. They planned the restoration of the Carter Building and its transformation into a luxury hotel. The project cost over $80 million. Pearl Hospitality outlined its restoration plan in an application to the Houston Archaeological and Historical Commission. The plan included removing the 1960s glass and marble slipcover, restoration of ornaments that had been removed or had deteriorated, and removing modern aluminum window and door frames at the retail level, then replacing them with original materials. On November 19, 2014, JW Marriott held a grand opening for its 328-room hotel at 806 Main Street, the site of the restored Carter Building. The Adolphus Hotel is an upscale hotel in the Main Street district of downtown Dallas, Texas. A Dallas landmark, it was for several years the tallest building in the state. Today, the hotel is part of Marriott Hotel's autograph collection. The Adolphus was opened on October 5, 1912, built by the founder of the Anheuser-Busch Company, Adolphus Busch, in a Beaux-Arts style designed by Thomas P. Barnett of Barnett, Haynes Barnett of St. Louis. Busch's intention in constructing the hotel was to establish the first grand and posh hotel in the city of Dallas. Under the management of Otto Schubert from 1922 to 1946, the hotel grew to national prominence. With 22 floors standing a total of 312 feet, the building was the tallest in Texas until it was dwarfed by the Magnolia Petroleum Building, now the Magnolia Hotel, just down the street in August 1922. The Adolphus underwent a series of expansions, first in 1916, then 1926 and finally in 1950, at the time giving the hotel a total of 1,200 rooms. In the 1930s it was run by hotel industry pioneer Ralph Hitz's National Hotel Management Company and played host to many big band musicians of the era, including Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey, Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller. The Adolphus has been the host of many respected leaders of business, government, and entertainment, including presidents, from Warren G. Harding to George H.W. Bush. Elizabeth II and Prince Philip also stayed at the hotel in 1991. This hotel was a Dallas hub for entertainment and provided a platform that helped developing careers, such as Bob Hope, Jack Benny and others. North American Aviation, P-51 Mustangs, World War II, and others benefited from its position as a Texas business hub. During the 1980s, the Adolphus underwent a $80 million renovation, enlarging and modernizing the already luxurious guest rooms. It also shrunk the total number of guest rooms to 428 to make the rooms more spacious. The Adolphus was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1983. The Magnolia Building, originally the Magnolia Petroleum Building, is a 29-story, 399-foot Beaux-Arts style, upscale hotel in the Main Street district of downtown Dallas, Texas, that for many years was the tallest building in the state after surpassing the Adolphus Hotel. The structure is a Dallas landmark and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The building, opened in August 1922 at a cost of $4 million, was originally the headquarters for the Magnolia Petroleum Company. In 1934, the company erected its trademark neon Pegasus flying horse on the building's roof. The Pegasus logo later became the logo of Mobil Oil, who merged with Magnolia Petroleum in 1959, to celebrate the American Petroleum Institute's annual meeting, held in Dallas for the first time. The rotating winged horse came to represent the city of Dallas and became one of its most recognizable and endearing landmarks, even after the building became obscured by much larger skyscrapers. The neon Pegasus can now only be seen in the downtown skyline approaching from the south. By 1974, however, Pegasus stopped rotating due to mechanical problems, and in 1977 the property was sold to the city of Dallas. The building was listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1978. The building was purchased by Denver, Colorado developers in 1997 and was converted into the luxury 330-room Magnolia Hotel. In 1999, in preparation for Dallas's Millennium Celebration, Pegasus was taken down to be completely restored. However, the sign was beyond repair and a new sign was recreated from scratch. At midnight on January 1, 2000, the new Pegasus, complete with rotation, was lit for the first time. A copy of the original sign, which sat atop a Mobil Oil station in the Casa Linda neighborhood of Dallas for many decades, is now on display at the Old Red Museum. The Niels and Melius buildings are a building complex in downtown Houston. They were among the most recognizable buildings in downtown Houston. The Niels building stands at a height of 410 feet. The Niels building is the only complete example of Italian Renaissance architecture in downtown Houston. Designed by theater architect John Everson, the buildings were built in 1927 and 1941, respectively. They are elaborately detailed with massive columns, great urns, terraces, and a grand tempietto at the top, similar to one built in the courtyard of San Pietro in Rome in 1502. Melius person had the first of the two buildings constructed for her husband, Niels, a real estate and oil tycoon. His name is carved on the side of the building, above the entrance, in large letters. The name, Melius person, is carved on the accompanying structure, known as the Melius person building, although that structure is only a 19-story annex to the original S-person building, thus is the newer of both buildings and it is not as tall. Also, instead of it being of neoclassical design, it was constructed in Art Deco style. In 2007, Cameron Management Incorporated sold the S-person buildings to Seligman Western Enterprises Ltd. The Gulf Building is one of the preeminent Art Deco skyscrapers in the southwestern United States. Architects Alfred C. Finn, Kenneth Fernsheim, and J.E.R. Carpenter were commissioned in 1927 by Jesse H. Jones to design a structure of strikingly modern style and commanding height. From its completion in 1929 until 1931 it was the tallest building west of the Mississippi River, and from 1929 until 1963 it dominated the skyline of Houston as its tallest building. The building, at Main Street and Rusk Avenue in the downtown financial and petroleum business district, is of steel frame construction, clad in Indiana limestone, supported by a 6-story base, and T-shaped in plan. It carries a 30-story tower faced with tapestry brick laid in Flemish bond. The architects utilized Eliel Saarinen's stepped profile design, which diminishes in volume as it rises. The construction cost of the building has been estimated at $3.5 million. Two annexes were subsequently added in 1946 and 1949, both designed by Alfred C. Finn. Between 1981 and 1986 the Gulf Building was renovated and restored by the Houston architectural firm Sykes, Jennings, Kelly for its owner, Texas Commerce Bank. The observation deck atop the tower housed an aeronautical beacon and a telescope. It is said that on a clear day Galveston, a distance of approximately 55 miles, was clearly visible through the telescope. The Main Street lobby is richly decorated with 8 frescoes illustrating the history of Texas and Houston, painted by New York artist Vincent Meragliotti, with vaulted ceilings, and with fixtures of decorative polished nickel and etched glass in panels of raised arches, scrolls, rays, and chevrons. In the Travis Street banking hall fluted pilasters define the walls and entrances to other parts of the building. A massive stained glass window depicting the Battle of San Jacinto was installed in 1960. From 1966 to 1974 the company insignia of the Gulf Oil Corporation, an orange 53-foot-high rotating neon disc, was affixed to the rooftop where the beacon and telescope had been. Known locally as the Gulf Lollipop, it was loved by some and considered gauche by others, but was a landmark to all. Though the Gulf Building no longer dominates the Houston skyline, it remains a treasure of Houston's past in a downtown district now dominated by glass, aluminum, and concrete. It is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The Republic Bank Tower, built in 1954, was the first major downtown post-war office in Dallas. The building is distinguishable for the large decorative mast atop the tower and its exterior skin of aluminum panels, each embossed with a star. It is also significant for its association with Fred F. Florence, longtime president of Republic Bank and prominent civic leader. The Republic National Bank Building, later known as Republic Center Tower 1, and now Gables Republic Tower, was constructed as a 36-story, 602-foot skyscraper for the headquarters of Republic National Bank, which had previously been located at the Davis Building. Seeking to build higher than their rivals Mercantile National Bank Building, the Republic National Bank Building became the tallest building in Dallas and west of the Mississippi River at its completion in 1954. The skyscraper included an elaborate banking pavilion that stretched to Pacific Avenue. It remained the tallest building on the Dallas skyline until it was surpassed by the Southland Center in 1959. As the bank expanded, in 1964 it sought to reclaim the tallest in Dallas title. The bank hired architects Harrell and Hamilton to achieve this by designing a taller companion to adjacent Republic Center 1. However, height limit was restricted by the FAA. Upon completion in 1964, Republic Center Tower 2 was only tallest in Dallas on some lists. The 150-foot, 46-meter, spire on the original 1954 Republic Center gave that structure a 4-foot edge in terms of spire height. Less than a year later, the building was surpassed by Elm Place as the tallest building in Dallas. At the time of completion, the spire atop Gable's Republic Tower, an abstraction of the four-pointed star and referred to as the rocket, contained a rotating beacon of light. This was later turned off due to taller surrounding buildings, but today the spire is floodlit from below. The Humble Oil Building is a historic office building, designed in the Italian Renaissance architecture style, in Houston, Texas. It was constructed by Humble Oil and Refining Company in 1921. The tower section was added onto the building in 1936. The building complex served as the company headquarters for Humble Oil and Refining Company from 1921 until 1963, when the company moved into what is now the ExxonMobil building at 800 Bell Street. In 2003, the building complex was renovated for use as a combination hotel and apartments. The apartment section was converted to additional hotel rooms in 2015. The original 9-story structure occupied half of a city block between Main Street and Travis Street. This original structure was designed by prominent New York architects Clinton and Russell and cost approximately $1.2 million. It was the largest office building in Houston at the time, containing approximately 196,000 square feet of space. A 1932 renovation added a central air conditioning system to the building, the first in any Houston office building. Humble Oil expanded the building in 1936 with an adjacent 17-story tower. Additional expansions were made in 1940 and 1947, and the complex now contains 529,809 square feet. In 1997, the building complex was purchased by Historic Restoration Incorporated, with plans to adapt the buildings into a mixed-use hotel, apartments, and retail space. The plans moved forward in 1999 with a loan from the City of Houston in the amount of $4.6 million in order to encourage the development. The plans were completed in 2003 and the building opened as a Courtyard by Marriott Hotel, a Residence Inn Hotel, and the Humble Tower Apartments. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1999, under the category Late 19th and 20th Century Revivals. The apartment section was converted to a third Marriott-branded hotel in 2015, a Spring Hill Suites. The First National Bank building of Dallas is a 52-story, 191-meter, 627 feet, skyscraper in the Main Street district of downtown Dallas. It is the 10th tallest building in the city. In January 2010 the building was closed due to low occupancy rates. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2017. In 2020, it reopened, after the most costly building conversion in Dallas history, totaling $460 million. It contains the luxury Thompson Dallas Hotel, 324 apartments, 37,000 square feet of office space and 43,000 square feet of retail space. The $35 million skyscraper was designed for the First National Bank in Dallas by architects George Dahl and Thomas E. Stanley, built to replace First National's home on Main Street. The exterior, featuring a dark and light contrasting theme, was clad in more than 8 acres of dark gray glass and white marble imported from Greece. The building's construction began in 1961 and used more than 25,000 tons of steel. At the time of opening in 1965, it was the tallest building west of the Mississippi River, until surpassed by 555 California Street in San Francisco in 1969. It was the tallest in Texas until 1971, when One Shell Plaza was built in Houston. One Shell Plaza is a 50-story, 218-meter, 715-foot skyscraper in downtown Houston, Texas. Perched atop the building is an antenna that brings the overall height of the building to 304.8 meters, 1,000 feet. At its completion in 1971, the tower was the tallest in the city. One Shell Plaza was designed by the architectural firm of Skidmore, Owings Merrill. Shell Oil Company was headquartered in this building until 2016. The law firm of Baker Botts is also headquartered there. As of 2018, NRG Energy occupied the bottom 22 floors of the building. The Houston Club, on the 49th floor of the building, has dining, entertainment, and meeting facilities. The building opened in 1971 and was renovated in 1994. The $80 million in major renovations included an updated lobby and plaza, elevator modernization, upgrades to the building's systems, new lighting, and ADA modifications. Renaissance Tower is a 886-foot, 270-meter, 56-story modernist skyscraper at 1201 Elm Street in downtown Dallas. The tower is the second tallest in the city, the fifth tallest in Texas. Renaissance Tower was designed by the architectural firm Hellmuth, Obata, and Cassabaut, completed in 1974, and renovated by architects Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill in 1986. Major tenants include Neiman Marcus Group, Hilltop Securities, and Godwin Lewis PC. At the time of completion in 1974, it was the tallest building in Dallas at 710 foot, 220 meters, and was originally known as the first International Bankshares Tower. In 1985, it was surpassed by Fountain Place and Bank of America Plaza, which became Dallas's tallest building by far. It was also clear that Renaissance Tower would be overtaken by Comerica Bank Tower and Chase Tower, then under construction. Therefore, in order to regain some status, the building underwent a major renovation in 1986 that included a reglazed exterior and removal of the lighting on its sides. In 1986, James T. Chiles was brought in by the owner, the Prudential Insurance Company of America, to design the broadcast center and towers on top the building, one of which was 176 foot, 54 meters. This brought the structural height of the building up to 886 feet, 270 meters, securing its place as the second tallest building in Dallas. Excluding antennas and spires, the Renaissance Tower is the fifth tallest. The J.P. Morgan Chase Tower, formerly Texas Commerce Tower, is a 305.4 meter, 1,002 foot, 75-story skyscraper at 600 Travis Street in downtown Houston. It is currently the tallest building in Texas and the south-central region of the United States, the tallest five-sided building in the world, the 29th tallest building in the United States. The tower was built between 1979 and 1981 as the Texas Commerce Tower. It was designed by noted architects I.M. Pei & Partners. Architect of record was 3D International Incorporated. In some early plans, the building reached up to 80 stories. However, the FAA expressed concerns that additional height was a risk for aircraft going into and out of nearby William P. Hobby Airport. Nonetheless, when it was completed, it was the sixth tallest building in the U.S. It was built on the site where the Uptown Theater, demolished in 1965, once stood. While the tower's name reflects the bank J.P. Morgan Chase, the only space designated to Chase was a single branch office on the bottom floor until 2021. The tower is owned by Prime Asset Management and managed by its original owner, Heinz Interests. Lincoln Property Company and Caroy Residential, along with PSP Investments, revealed Waterline, a skyline-defining mixed-use tower currently underway in Austin, Texas. Reaching a height of 1,022 feet, Waterline encapsulates KPF's expertise in super-tall design. The project expertly layers its multiple uses, which include ground-floor public and food and beverage space, luxury apartments, Class A office space, and the One Hotel Austin, the first Texas location for the global sustainability-focused hospitality and lifestyle brand. The design of Waterline prioritizes the ground plane, responds to its site, and forms an icon on the Austin skyline. Supported by sculptural columns, the tower's base is lifted 30 feet above street level, creating a two-story canopy that integrates the rugged, lush natural character of Waller Creek. This vast public space, called the Paseo, connects the building to the waterfront and will serve as a gathering space day and night. Waterlines form stacks and twists in response to the curvature of Waller Creek, gesturing to downtown Austin while using horizontally to distinguish the variety of programs. The building's sweeping crown marks the project from afar. Vertical construction on the project began in December 2022, with topping out slated for August 2025 and completion in mid-2026.